What's going on, guys? Austin here, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 5 Minute Fantasies Week 16 booming and busting running backs. My start of the week, I'm going to say, is going to be Devonta Freeman. He's got a pretty good matchup going against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. It's a pretty weak defense, and I think everything just kind of bodes well for Devonta Freeman also having a big game. Catching passes out of the backfield and having a lead, needing to run out the clock. I think that everything just kind of is coming together right now for his Week 16 matchup. I'm going to say you're going to want to start the Miami Dolphins running back, Patrick Lyard. He's not somebody that you're going to want to sit Christian McCaffrey for, clearly. But if you're reaching, if you're checking the waivers, if you don't have a lot of guys, if people are injured or something like that, he should be a very solid matchup. Going up against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, who they give up a lot of points against the run. And, if Miami has a lead, which I expect them to, he's going to be the guy churning out the yards. Phillip Lindsay going up against Detroit. Earlier on in the year, Detroit had a good secondary and a weak run defense. Now they just have a weak everything defense. I expect Denver to have a lead. I expect Phillip Lindsay to be a part of that lead, and I also expect Phillip Lindsay to be a part of why Denver keeps that lead. He's a safe pick this week. Miles Sanders going up against Dallas. He's that gadget guy like that Wendell Smallwood, kind of like that everything Taysom Hill, only he's a running back, obviously. And, if he's somebody that, going up against Dallas, they're going to be needing to run a lot of plays through him. He's young, he's energetic, he's athletic. More than a lot of guys right now. Also, the atrophy in the skill position groups on the Philadelphia Eagles team, leads to him, needing to be a center point for this offense, which should be good. It can be good. It could have been good. It's all going to be on Miles Sanders pretty much this week against Dallas. I'm going to say you're going to want to start Adrian Peterson going up against the New York Giants. The Giants don't have a great run defense, and, the Washington interim head coach, he said, we're going to get back to running the football, and that's something that, Adrian Peterson, even at age 33 or 34, I think he's 34, he's still been able to do relatively well this season, behind even a lackluster offensive line with a bad quarterback behind him. So, Adrian Peterson, this is going to be a decently favorable matchup going up against the Giants. So look to start him in something that I expect to be a low-scoring game. Players to sit, I'm going to say Nick Chubb going up against Baltimore. We all know what Baltimore can do. The only player that really gashed them in the last couple weeks has been Jamison Crowder. And I understand Le'Veon Bell had like 86 yards or something like that, but it wasn't really that impressive because it just kind of like they kept forcing him the ball. I think that Baltimore is going to get up. They're going to get up early. Cleveland's going to want to pass. They're going to be, having to utilize Odell and Jarvis, and now that David Njoku's back, him. And I think that they're going to have to get away from Nick Chubb relatively soon. Derrick Henry. Look to avoid starting Derrick Henry going up against New Orleans. New Orleans has a really good run defense for two reasons. One, they've got guys up front, and they've got big bodies that really know what they're doing, smart safeties. And two, they normally have a lead, which makes opposing teams have to abandon the run early. Tennessee is still in the playoff race. They are tied currently with the Steelers for the 6th seed. They just lose some, interconference tiebreaker matchups, whatever it is. So if they get down, they're gonna have to step away from Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had an incredible 5-game stretch, but expect that to be over, especially going up against this New Orleans defense. James Conner against the New York Jets. The Jets, aside from Lamar Jackson, pretty much shut down the running game that the Baltimore Ravens had. Mark Ingram had a touchdown, but they were already down on like the 3 or 4 yard line, and those are impossible to stop. But look for James Conner to get shut down. The New York Jets are probably a top 7 run defense, especially in the last 10 weeks. I'm going to say sit Todd Gurley. He has to go up against San Francisco. San Francisco had a devastating loss last week against Atlanta. Kyle Shanahan even said it. This is Atlanta's Super Bowl, and if we don't play like it's ours, then we're going to lose this game. And San Francisco needs to keep pace with Seattle because San Francisco needs that number one seed. They want the bye. And, they're either going to get the 1 seed or they're going to get the 5 seed. So look for a very motivated San Francisco team to come in and beat this Rams team who pretty much lost all playoff hopes last week losing to Dallas. I'm going to say sit Aaron Jones. They're going up against Minnesota. Aaron Jones has been not non-existent, but he's kind of been gone the last couple weeks. And the Minnesota defense is really going to key in on the run, especially because, Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked great the last couple weeks. So expect him to not be able to do as much, as he normally does. And then I'm going to say sit James White. James White's a guy who, Buffalo has the athletes, the linebackers, and the safeties to be able to shut down, this kind of a running back, a gadget guy, a guy who's going to be catching out of the backfield. Buffalo's got a good defense, and I think that Buffalo knows that if they shut down James White, they can stop the Patriots. So be careful about starting him again this week.